So in this section of the reading, Swedenborg goes on to make several statements about heaven and how it works there. Statements about angels, statements about children in heaven, statements about non-Christians. And if you really study it, what he's doing, though he doesn't state it this way, is he is refuting misconceptions people have about heaven. So the first statement that he makes is that heaven and hell, or hell, just go with me, are from, I'm just going to put H, human, okay, get it all in there, race. Now again, this is how bad it looks when I teach. If they can't read it, I do it over again. Heaven and hell are from the human race. Now you might think to yourself, okay, well, what misconception would that be trying to answer? And what it is that people believe that angels are superhuman beings that were created in heaven, that have never been on earth, and they're the ones that come, teach us this thing or that thing, or protect us from this or that, or have a special use in, that they're performing also often for some religion or some church, things like that. And what's interesting is, first of all, the word angel means messenger. That's all it means. So if you go back to the Bible and anywhere you see angel of the Lord, or an angel appeared to the Virgin Mary, an angel appeared to Joseph, anywhere there's an angel, it just says messenger. And in those pictures, you see a person clothed in white or shining brightly. You don't see wings. That's another thing. Angels don't have wings. And what's interesting is that scholars of the Christian church also will tell you that. It's not just Swedenborg. They say that the reason angels started having wings in all the artwork later on in Christianity was to show basically that they can get around really fast. They're coming down from heaven, there they are, they're here. But the people in the beginning did not believe that they actually had wings. It was a representation. So angels aren't created beings. Angels means messenger, and they don't have wings. Now the thing is, where did people come up with this whole angelology thing? Now, if you go back and you look, and I urge you to do this if you have the time, to go back and look, how did this whole thing about angels develop? It developed after the Lord came on earth. It developed after the Bible had already been written, where people started to come up with almost like a mythology about, we'll have an angel of this, and we'll have an angel of that. There are a few angels who appear in the Word. The angel Michael in the New Testament is said to be the angel of the armies of the Lord. And what Swedenborg says is Michael represents a whole society of angels who protect people, who protect with the truth. Another angel that's mentioned is Gabriel. Gabriel is always seen giving messages to people. And again, Swedenborg says there are a bunch of Gabriels, like say a city or community of people who would call themselves Gabriel. And that these people, it is their use to give people messages, to communicate with people. There's not just one archangel here and one archangel there doing these special things. He ends by saying every angel in heaven was once a person on earth. Now, why does he make a big deal out of that? Well, I think one of the reasons, or maybe when I look at it, the reason is once again, he's trying to show us that angels are human. That angels are human in the sense of God is human, a perfect human. And that every one of us is connected to that heaven, not even simply through the Word, but if we live good lives, we will become angels ourselves. That deep, deep connection. And we see this in certain movies. We could talk about, angels in the outfield. Everybody's favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. Clarence gets his wings. But again, he comes up, someone that was on earth and is in heaven. And so many more movies where angels are depicted as people who were once on earth. I think we just kind of know that. But that's not really what's taught in a lot of deep religious, philosophical schools and thought on that. Another point I want to make is it also works with the devils. Devils are not some sort of super inhuman beings that are fighting against God. There is no equal evil God fighting the real God. No, hell symbolizes human evil. The devil symbolizes human evil. And that human evil, you could say, hell is the collective conscious or unconscious of human evil in the spiritual world. So yeah, hell is a very real place. But the devil, Satan, Lucifer are not. They represent, again, certain parts of hell. For example, Satan represents false ideas, and the devil represents evil. So you put them together, the devil and Satan, it's like falsity and evil. That's hell. Lucifer is very interesting because if you do a study of Lucifer, the whole story about falling from the light, trying to go up to heaven, and the fallen angel. If you look in the Bible, go back to the original Hebrew Bible, the name Lucifer isn't even there. That was added when they came up with the New King James Version. What they're really pointing to, it's a story about Babylon, and they mentioned the morning star, the morning star, which we call Venus. And somewhere along the line, someone decided, I'm going to throw in and give this thing a name. Hundreds of years later, a name that didn't even exist when they wrote the Bible. Now I want to talk about the second of many, but the second misconception, and put it in terms that we can understand. And first of all, Swedenborg says non-Christians can go to heaven. Oh, what's the misconception there? Well, that if you're not baptized as a Christian, that you're going to go to hell. And I've even argued with some people who will say, I'll ask them, well, what if you're on a desert island and you never heard of Jesus? Are you going to go to hell? Yep. Now, not everybody's that unreasonable, but that is a belief out there that you need to belong to our religion. Even though what I think rational people would see is that God comes by many names, and surely, Jesus is the manifestation of God. Jesus is God. But, if somebody calls God another name, are they really going to say, nope, you didn't get the right name and you have to go to hell? So Swedenborg talks about this idea and says, the general opinion is that people who have been born outside the church or non-Christians cannot be saved because they do not have the Word and therefore do not know the Lord. And without the Lord, there is no salvation. They could know, however, that these people too are saved, simply from the fact that the Lord's mercy is universal. That is, it extends to all individuals. Non-Christians are born just as human as people within the church, who are, in fact, few by comparison. It is not their fault that they do not know the Lord. So anyone who thinks from any enlightened reason at all can see that no one is born for hell. The Lord is actually love itself, and his love is an intent to save everyone. We've talked about that before. If you want to say God is love, then there cannot be any other way, but God looks down and reaches out to all humanity. And it's how we accept God. So Swedenborg does talk about people from different faiths, or the lack of faith even, if they have a higher power, if they believe in God or a deity of some kind or another, and try to follow the good precepts of their religion, they will go to heaven. Why? Because that's enough to help them change and to help them grow and help them open up to the Lord, regardless of their variety of beliefs. So basically, if you want to get to heaven, follow the commandments, follow what the Lord teaches you, and he will change your heart. Now, what about atheists? So a lot of people ask me about that, students today. It's like, yeah, what about the atheists? And they're, well, there you go to hell. No, Swedenborg basically says the only atheists or unbelievers that go to hell are people who are disbelieving because they want to lead an evil life. So therefore, well, that doesn't exist, or no, I don't have to do that, because they want to live an evil, selfish life. But we got to come back to, again and again, you don't go to heaven or hell solely because of what you believe, or even solely because of what you do, but who you become. So you can see there's a variety of people from a variety of different opinions about God that can be very good people or very evil people. You can go to church every Sunday and be a very evil person. You can really believe in your heart, I don't understand God, I don't get God, I'm doubtful about God, but you live a good life, and in your heart you know there's something called love and goodness that you submit to and follow general principles, you're going to go to heaven. At least that's what Swedenborg says. And I think that makes a lot more sense. That really, I've found too that most people who claim to be atheists, they're really not anti-God. They're anti-religion. They're anti what people have told them God is like. And I feel blessed because every once in a while in the classes I teach, there will be a student who comes in and says, I don't believe in God, and da-da-da-da-da, here are the reasons why. And as we're gently teaching a different picture of God and all these things that are said about a loving God and heaven, it's been a blessing to hear those people say, I can believe in that God. And to say, I believe in God again. I truly can believe in God. Now, I want to show you a video, and it's a video of someone. In fact, it's called A Woman Finds Faith on Megyn Kelly, her show. And it's somebody that didn't believe in God and yet had this near-death experience and turned around. And we'll talk about it after we see it.